welcome to my video of every film I've ever seen, part 7, the 1960s to the 1970s. I want to say thank you to those of you who are back as part of my subscribers, and if you are a new subscriber or just a new viewer here, I appreciate you being here, and I would love for you to go check out my other content on my channel to see if it's worth subscribing to. And if you do subscribe, don't forget to click that bell and to get notified of future videos. Let's get into every film I've ever seen, part 7. Up first is Jerry Lewis's Visit to a Small Planet. This is an okay film. I'm not a big fan. Up next is Eyes Without a Face. Kind of a nice little beautiful foreign film. La Dolce Vita. Another great, fantastic foreign film. The Virgin Spring. Breathless. Peeping Tom. The Magnificent Seven. The original Magnificent Seven. Not the Seven Samurai original, but the Magnificent Seven English version. It's really, really good. We have La Ventura. We have the remake of Pollyanna from Disney, a favorite of mine. It's pretty good. We have H.G. Wells's The Time Machine. This is a fantastically made film. It is great from beginning to end. It's a fantastic adventure flick. It's fantastic. And then we have my second favorite film of all time, the comedy The Apartment, an absolute beautiful little film with Jack Lemmon. It's fantastic. We have up next is the iconic Alfred Hitchcock film Psycho. Cannot go wrong with that shower scene and all the twists and turns from this. And then we have Village of the Damned, House of Usher. We have Inherit the Wind, one of my personal favorite courtroom dramas with Spencer Tracy. It's fantastic. And then we have the original Ocean's 11 with the Rat Pack. Then we have the grand, fantastic, epic Spartacus with Kirk Douglas. Fantastic from beginning to end. This movie's like 3 hours long. Fantastic battle scenes, a lot of great cinematography shots, fantastic. And then we have John Wayne's The Alamo, and then we have Swiss Family Robinson, one of my personal favorite original classic Disney films. I absolutely love this film when I was a kid, and I still love it today. It's pretty great. Then we have 101 Dalmatians, the original cartoon. And then we have Underworld USA. We have the original Flubber called The Absent-Minded Professor. Yes, the Flubber with John Williams. With Robin Williams is actually a remake. It's kind of interesting. And then we have Akira Kurosawa's Yojimbo. Fantastic samurai film. I highly recommend anything from Akira Kurosawa. And then we have The Parent Trap with Haley Mills. And then we have Last Year at Marienbad. And then we have a personal favorite of mine with Sidney Poitier, A Raisin in the Sun. Beautiful film about race and all that kind of stuff. Oh, so good. And then we have Misty. We have Through a Glass Darkly. And then we have a fantastic adventure film, The Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. And then we have The Pit and the Pendulum with Vincent Price. He was in a lot of stuff back in the day. And then we have The Hustler, a fantastic film with about pool and the hustling and whatever of it. Pretty great. And then we have the absolute gorgeous film with Audrey Hepburn, Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's absolutely fantastic. I love this film so much. And then we have a personal favorite musical, West Side Story. It's absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait till Steven Spielberg's remake of it comes out in December. It's going to be fantastic to watch. I absolutely love this version, and with the teaser trailer that they released, I'm excited for it. And then we have The Innocents, and then we have Judgment at Nuremberg, a fantastic courtroom drama. We have Disney's Babes in Toyland, and then we have a new favorite of mine recently with Audrey Hepburn called The Children's Hour from the 1960s, and this is just a fantastic story of that actually surprises me about a young schoolgirl spreading a rumor that her teachers are lesbians. Oh my word, so good. And then we have Akira Kurosawa's Sanjuro, another fantastic samurai film. Then we have The Road to Hong Kong, Jules and Jim, Legete, which is a kind of a strange film. And then we have Ivan's Childhood. We have the original Cape Fear, which I'm actually a bigger fan of the remake with Robert De Niro. This is pretty good too, but the remake is just top notch. And then we have James Stewart and John Wayne in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. This is probably one of my favorite westerns of all time. It is fantastic. The Exterminating Angel. Then we have the original, The Miracle Worker. That scene at the dinner table is just so good and it's just hard to watch, but it is fantastic at the same time. And then we have Mr. Hobbs Takes a Vacation with James Stewart. We have The Music Man, a fantastic musical. We have Godzilla versus King Kong, the original. Kind of like the new one that just came out recently. But this one, it's kind of bad. Literally the last 10 minutes of it are them fighting. The rest of it is just building up to it, and it's just so boring. And then we have Veer Save. We have Akira Kurosawa's Harakiri. We have a fantastic war film called The Longest Day. We have Carnival of Souls. Up next is one of the longest westerns I've ever seen, and probably one with a lot of stars too. How the West Was Won. James Stewart, so many great stars back in the day. And then we have the first official James Bond film, Dr. No. Big fan of the first one. It's pretty good. Highly recommend it. If you are going to plan on starting to watch these, do it now. They are fantastic. Then we have a political thriller called The Manchurian Candidate. Bunch of brainwashing and all that kind of stuff. This film is just intense. And then we have Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Ooh, this movie is a thrill ride from beginning to end. It's a fantastic drama. I highly recommend it. And then we have one of the greatest epics of all time, Lawrence of Arabia, directed by David Lean and starring Peter O'Toole. So it's grand on every scale. Fantastic. I cannot recommend that movie enough. And then we have To Kill a Mockingbird, a classic. We have Vincent Price's The Raven. We have Winter Light, 8.5. High and Low, directed by Akira Kurosawa. We have Alfred Hitchcock's classic The Birds, probably my least favorite of the 5 or 6 main popular ones that he's known for. And then we have a musical called Bye Bye Birdie with Dick Van Dyke. Up next is Charlton Heston's 55 Days at Pecking. This is an interesting war film. Kind of hard to find, but it was worth watching. Then we have the original Nutty Professor with Jerry Lewis, which I'm not a fan of this one. I'm a fan of the remake with Eddie Murphy, but this one is Jerry Lewis just does nothing for me. And then we have Lilies of the Field with Sidney Poitier. An absolute beautiful little film of a guy coming into his own. Fantastic. We have Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine's Irma La Douce. We have a fantastic, epic, long fantastic film called Cleopatra. The sets are amazing. There's so many stuff in this film where it's just like, how do they do that? It's like I miss these kind of movies where I wish they'd stop using CGI and just use, practical sets and all that kind of stuff. And this kind of movie is a pure example of just showing how grand stuff can be with practical sets and all that kind of stuff. And then we have Jason and the Argonauts. And then we have a fantastic war escape film called The Great Escape. Probably some of you know this film through Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where they kind of photoshopped Leonardo DiCaprio into the film, kind of real as his audition. And this movie is fantastic. I highly recommend it. Then we have the original The Haunting. We have From Russia with Love. We have Contempt. We have John Wayne's McClintock. We have The Incredible Journey, the original Homeward Bound, which I am not that much of a fan of. The original, not so good. It's boring, but the remake is fantastic. Then we have Audrey Hepburn's Charade. We have the original Pink Panther, which this movie did nothing for me. I remember watching this, and that there was a scene where it goes on for 15 minutes, and it was just gets boring and whatever. Not a fan. Don't recommend this really all that much. And then we have Disney's The Sword and the Stone. We have Dr. Strangelove. We have a beautiful musical that inspired La La Land, one of my favorite movies, The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. We have Woman in the Dunes. We have The Last Man on Earth. We have Paris When It Sizzles with Audrey Hepburn. We have Viva Las Vegas with Elvis Presley. Big fan of his first film that I saw of his was Jailhouse Rock. Big fan of that. Viva Las Vegas, pretty good. I can see why my Nana was a huge fan of him back in the day. And then we have Mothra versus Godzilla. Then we have A Shot in the Dark, the second Pink Panther film. Then we have the documentary film of the Beatles called A Hard Day's Night. Then we have Hitchcock's Marnie. We have Band Apart. We have the classic Disney Mary Poppins with Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke. Childhood classic right there. So much childhood nostalgia with that. It's gotta love the songs and all that kind of stuff. And then we have the Great Western, A Fistful of Dollars with Clint Eastwood. We have the James Bond film Goldfinger. We have the great musical My Fair Lady. Another great Audrey Hepburn film. I absolutely love it. We have a kind of a weird film, Pajama Party. Then we have Ghidorah and the Three-Headed Monster. We have the classic Sound of Music with Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer. Then we have Akira Kurosawa's Redbeard, another great samurai film. We have a very hard film to find called Alphaville. We have Repulsion. We have Pierre Lafou. We have The Agony and the Ecstasy with Charlton Heston. We have The Cincinnati Kid. We have the original That Darn Cat. We have the next James Bond film in the franchise, Thunderball. We have the classic Christmas, Charlie Brown's Christmas. And then we have a fantastic war film called Battle of the Bulge. We have the classic Western with Clint Eastwood, For a Few Dollars More, leading into The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Fantastic films. I recommend all three. Then we have Invasion of the Monsters. We have the epic Dr. Zhivago. We have Don Knotts in The Ghost and Mr. Chicken. We have Django. We have Born Free. We have Al Hassard Balazar. We have Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? We have How to Steal a Million with Audrey Hepburn. We have another Alfred Hitchcock with Torn Curtain with Julie Andrews. We have the original Batman from the 60s with Adam West. We have the Battle of Algiers, Fahrenheit 451, Something Is for Everyone. We have Pacerna, 1 million years BC. We have Andre Louis. And then we have Robert Mitchum and John Wayne in El Dorado. We have Ibria, Horror of the Deep. We have the classic Western with Clint Eastwood, The Good and the Bad and the Ugly. Highly recommend all such great, fantastic Westerns. We have The Gorgeous, the Young Girls of Rochefort, a fantastic musical. We have How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Long title. And then we have Paul Newman in Hombre. We have Thoroughly Modern Millie, another musical with Julie Andrews. We have Belle Jour. We have another Bond film, You Only Live Twice. We have To Sir with Love. We have Cool Hand Luke. We have the fantastic Bonnie and Clyde. We have In the Heat of the Night, Point Blank, The Jungle Book, The Samurai. We have a fantastic film called Wait Until Dark with Audrey Hepburn, a woman who is blind and that she's been taken advantage of by these robbers. And it's intense from beginning to end. It's pretty great. Then we have the original The Producers, which I am not a big fan of. I'm not a huge fan of that. And then we have the original Dr. Dolittle, a musical, not with Eddie Murphy. Then we have probably one of the greatest films of all time with Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, starring Sidney Poitier, Katharine Hepburn, and Spencer Tracy. This movie is fantastic. It's fantastic with how they portray interracial relationships and all that kind of stuff. It is amazing. We have In Cold Blood. We have Playtime. We have Son of Godzilla. Very strange movie. We have The Graduate. We have Fitz Willie. We have a personal favorite of mine, Fire Creek with James Stewart and Henry Fonda. We have the original Planet of the Apes, probably one of the most iconic plot twists of all time. We have a personal favorite comedy of mine. We have The Odd Couple with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. We have the fantastic, beautiful 2001: A Space Odyssey, space adventure, sci-fi, fantastic. We have Yours, Mine, and Ours with Lucille Ball. We have the original Rosemary's Baby, an intense horror that is like no other, that really needs to be seen by everybody. Then we have Clint Eastwood's Hang 'Em High, Destroy All Monsters. We have Funny Girl, the film that introduced Barbara Streisand. We have the fantastic musical Oliver. We have Nights of the Living Dead, Bullet. We have a nostalgic piece for me, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang with Dick Van Dyke from the 60s. That is just a fantastic musical, and it's just so much fun with this. Then we have an epic Western called Once Upon a Time in the West, starring so many people, especially Henry Fonda, and the way it's portrayed and all this kind of stuff. Fantastic. Henry Fonda as a villain, I highly recommend watching it. He is fantastic. We have Z. We have the Best Picture winner, Midnight Cowboy. We have The Italian Job, the original. We have the original True Grit with John Wayne. The Wild Bunch, Army of Shadows. We have Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. We have Frosty the Snowman. We have the Bond film On Her Majesty's Service. We have Hello Dolly, a fantastic musical. We have All Monsters Attack, another weird Godzilla movie. And then last but not least, is Disney's The Computer Who Wore Tennis Shoes. Absolutely fantastic from beginning to end. It's fun to watch a young Kurt Russell, and this is kind of a nostalgic piece for me too. Fantastic. And that was every film I saw from 1960 to the 1970s, part 7. If you are new here, I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate, like I said earlier, go check out my other content before you subscribe. And if you do and you like my content, when you press the subscribe button, don't forget to click that bell. And if you are a returning subscriber, I appreciate you as well. Stay random, guys.